And so what is the secret of why the growth of the buses, other than the subsidy given by the government, let it grow so quickly in the Shandong provinces? So I've give you some brief suggestion about the buses. In wintertime, which means if you do not use aircon, okay, with a passenger of about 80 to 100 people on the bus, these buses could run 300 kilometers with one charges, or 12 hours non-stop. And if in summertime with aircon, with full loading, this bus could run for 200 kilometers or 8 hours non-stop. Probably this is one of the best buses available now in China or even in the world. So it makes the success of the buses in the Shandong provinces. Okay.
Thank you, Raymond. Thank you, Raymond, for your sharing. Other than sharing from people from across the different cities, I would like to check if there's any questions to the speakers just now who delivers their speeches on different countries. May I know if anyone would like to ask something on the topics that we share, please.
I have a quick question for Seoul. Oh, yes, absolutely. Hi there. Just a quick question for Seoul for the electric bus. How much is the peanut bus?
Maybe Mr. Chung, you can share with us.
Sorry, can you put the microphone closer to your
At the bottom.
self? Thank you.
Okay, 450 million Korean won. I can help you later to convert it. But I expect that the price will eventually, gradually go down.
Thank you. And also I know, because it's a C40s forum, I try to encourage more participations from cities in the world. And I know Mr. Antonio Lozier Guild is from Madrid, and probably Mr. Antonio can share with us some experience in Madrid. And may I invite Antonio, please? Oh, okay. Thank you, Pauline. And I also know that somebody's from Jakarta. Yes. Would you share with us the experience in Jakarta on the EV and the environmental issues, how to make an effort to make a green city in Jakarta? Thank you. And may I introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Aiza from Jakarta government. In Jakarta, sustainable transportation is still means Jakarta wants to improve our public transport since we have still many private car ownership is around 7 million car ownership. It means it's potential for production of car, but we still have pay attention to how to improve our public transport. It's like now we are concerned about our BRT. We have, I think it's the longest way in busway is around almost 200 kilometers. And then we concerned about using CNG and then looking for the other alternative for such, energy, such kind of biogas. Of course, electric vehicle is interesting and promising, but not now. We still have to think about how to provide the infrastructure, how to provide the instrument. Maybe later on it's so promising. So I think that's Jakarta. But we do a lot of effort to how to minimize our greenhouse gas, since our transport is transport emission is the biggest CO2 is produced by the transport. We do a lot of action to minimize CO2 by transportation. Now we start to measure our baseline from transportation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And again, after sharing, I would like to invite if there's any questions to the speaker from the floor.
Yes, could I ask any of the speakers, and maybe Claus if he's still here in particular, with regard to the recycling of the materials in the lithium batteries, could he talk about the extent of that recycling and put that in the context of concerns about peak lithium?
So,
or anyone on the panel who would care to comment on that, or in the room.
Would anyone would like to address this point? Hi, Eva. Okay, Eva, would you share with us?
Well, we know that the batteries in the cars have a second life, that they will be used in other operation after they've been used in the car. So they will be reused a lot maybe for storing wind power and other kinds of activities like that. So they have a second life. And after that, there is the lithium is so much worth that it's recaptured from the batteries. And some of the automakers tell me that they, at least in Europe, you have a responsibility for batteries, that if you set them on the market, you need to take them back once they are used, and the lithium will be reduced. So after a certain amount of time, the car industry will be self-sufficient on lithium, because they will just go round and round and round. But you have to consider where the lithium is come from and how it is produced, of course, when you use it when you capture it from the first time. So that is a very important issue. And when you buy your cars, you'll need to consider where the battery comes from and how it is produced. But it's very hard, because the auto industry doesn't always know where it comes from. So from a procurement side of view, it's a little hard to set very high criteria on that.
Do you have good information about the efficiency of the reuse, the capture of the lithium? The point about lead-acid batteries was how much of the lead ends up in the environment. With regard to lithium, do you have any information about what fraction of it you expect to never end up in the environment, but just kind of continuously be reused?
Well, I have, but I'm not the expert, so really it would be better if the car industry answered themselves, because they are in the room.
Yeah, I noticed Antonio is now back to the room from Madrid. So may I invite Antonio to share with us, and probably you have some questions to the speaker? Oh, if you like.
Hello, good morning. I want to say some things about the project of electric vehicle of Madrid. We have an approach of living laboratory, and we are working this living laboratory with a public-private partnership with 4 private companies, the 3 principal utilities of Spain, Iberdrola, Endesa, Unión Fenosa, and the 4th company is a very important service company. Our target is 280 charging points, and we are going to finish to install these charging points this year, 2010. And we have decided, about thinking a lot about it, we have decided to install 200 in the parking of a street. Our idea is that the occasional charging is not going to be on a street, but off a street. But in any case, we are going to installing 40 charging points on a street with a demonstrative intention. But we think that at the final of this living lab in the year 2012, these charging points on a street are going to be used by some future service of car sharing, only electric vehicle car sharing. And it's possible that during our living lab period, this car sharing service could be implemented. Okay, it's very important to explain who we are manage the money for this project. It's a project of more or less 2 million euros, the Living Lab. Well, the 40% of the investment of the infrastructure comes from the national government, because national government decided to support 3 pilot projects in Spain. Barcelona, Sevilla, and Madrid are the 3 pilot projects supported by the national government. Well, 40% of the investment of infrastructure, but the rest of the investment for the infrastructure come from the 4 private companies. I think that this is important. And the cost of the maintenance and the service of this charging grid during the Living Lab until 2012, it comes also from the private company. All these 280 charging points are slow charging. But in any case, in Madrid, there are happening other things about electric vehicle. We have some fast charging point, but it's not concretely in this pilot project. Well, we try to this project with the target of 280 charging points works as a catalyst of everything surrounding electric vehicle in Madrid. The process is being so that very open to identify the location of the charging points. We have asked to everyone about the intention of having some electric vehicles in the next 2 or 3 years. And on the pending of this, we have decided the location. Well, we are open to try on to prove every kind of car, every kind of infrastructure, and we have created a sort of demonstrative local standard of a smart infrastructure to prove every kind of infrastructure that accomplishes this standard, that is a standard at your disposal, of course. And well, to finish, we have defined a second project. Our second project tries to promote that the early adopter has at the end a car. And our target is that in the 2013 in Madrid we will dispose 1,400 electric vehicles. We think that this supposes investment of 53 million euros, and we have 1 million euros for the office who is going to act as facilitator. This million of euros is to technical assistance to facilitate the market, to put in contact the demand with the offer. To finish, we belong to 2 important networkings, because in this first moment to improve the electric vehicle, the networking like this is very important. We feel very active members of this networking, C40, electric vehicle C40, and in Europe, we are member of the networking of EVUE with Stockholm and other cities.